can you see this person's perspective, but can you see beyond this barrier that is in front of you right now? And we do get to that place of gratitude and actually appreciation. Now, it takes us refusing to stay in a victim mindset in order to do that.
Welcome in, everybody. Hey, Teri Pugh.
Hello. How are you?
Survived the storm. It was a pretty rough rock and roll. I cannot say the same for my goat shelter. It's kind of a mess in the back right now, but farming is the life for me.
Farming life.
Oh, Lord have mercy. But it's all good. You know what? It's all good. We're here, and people have got, man, there's so many in this world that have it so much worse. When you start thinking about life, and things that happen, it's like, oh my Lord, but so many people in this world have got real trouble. So I'm just spending my morning going, I got through the storm. Yay. Grateful.
Yeah. I didn't know you guys had storms.
Yeah, I called my family down in Louisiana, and they were battening down the hatches because they didn't want the lights to go out and be stuck in the shower. My sister is my mom's caregiver, and she says, I wanted to get mom showered and tucked in, so if the electricity goes out, we wouldn't be stuck there with soap in our hair. It's the little things. Got some folks who are joining us. Michelle Henry is joining us on YouTube. Elizabeth is on Facebook. Hey, EB. And some more people are jumping on here. I saw this quote this week, and I thought it'd be kind of cool to talk about. It's from Alan Cohen. It says, when you learn to say yes to yourself, you will be able to say no to others with love. And I thought that was kind of neat. I thought it was kind of neat because I was talking to my sister, and she says, yeah, everybody says, make time for yourself, make time for yourself. But she says, I want to know the magic way to do that. How do you say yes to yourself? And I want to talk a little bit about that, because I was raised in a generation that if you say yes to yourself, somehow you're being selfish. I mean, I realize it's people pleasing, and I know the error of my ways, but it's hard for me to get over it. And you're really good at it. So I just thought I would ask you, how do you say yes to yourself and not feel bad about it?
Well, I think we start saying yes to ourselves in micro ways.
Mm-hmm.
You say yes to yourself when you put your phone down, you hear it ring, and you're having your coffee in the morning, and you say no to the phone for right now. Whoever it is, they can leave a voicemail. I'm going to sit here, sip the coffee, sip the tea, do my devotional, do my meditation, we wouldn't be sipping coffee or tea when you're meditating, but, I'm going to do my few moments. It doesn't mean you have to carve out an hour or even 30 minutes. Let it be 5 minutes. Give yourself a routine. Maybe it's that you get up in the morning and the first thing you do is you wash your face and you brush your teeth.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start your day. Give yourself small things that then can grow into bigger things. If you just hit the ground running, you're constantly chasing yourself. And I know people will say, well, I got kids I got to get to school. I got dogs that I got to feed, and I got to get outside, and I got to get to work, and da-da-da-da-da. Okay. So then take a few deep breaths, stretch before you get out of bed, get the dog food ready the night before, dedicate somebody else to feeding the dogs, even if it's the kids. If you've got it ready the night before, it's literally setting a bowl on the floor. There are ways that we can shortcut things. And I've ran into people over year after year after year that'll say, you just don't understand. I can't. And I'm like, okay, well, can't never could do anything. So if that's your belief, okay, fine. But you can. How many times have you known? How many times has anyone, whether you, Devon, or people that are listening, had such a busy schedule? You just had so much stuff you had to get done, and you would say, I don't have time to do anything. And then suddenly there's a death in the family, or suddenly there's a flat tire, or suddenly there's something that comes up, a sick kid, a sick pet, and you create the time.
Oh,
You create the time.
absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So when we tell ourselves, I don't have the time, I just don't have the time, I don't have the time, that's actually not true.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Suzanne is joining us. Hi, Suzanne. And then we have a different Suzanne. I don't know this Suzanne. Suzanne
Oh,
Curly Key. Yeah,
I know Suzanne Curly Key.
that's one of your folks. One of your folks. Hi, guys. I give myself an hour every morning, Elizabeth says, to sit with my coffee, my kitties, and absolutely nothing but sitting on the sofa.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And if
That
you have an hour, that's great. Sometimes people are caregivers for other people and they don't. Like Faith, for instance, she's taking care of mom. Her routine is pretty set, right? And and it's fair to say that you can be completely exhausted when you're caretaking for someone, but finding those little moments that are there, you know, finding those little moments to, like I said, whether it's to fix yourself something to eat in the morning, to sit outside while someone is napping, or while another family member or a friend, comes in to visit. Take opportunities. We tell that to new mothers all the time. When the baby sleeps, you need to sleep. When somebody comes over to watch the baby, take a nap. I understand how challenging that can be, because nobody can take care of somebody as good as we can. And
right.
I mean, truthfully, the brain says it's impossible. This is my responsibility, and no one else can do this better than me. But that's actually not true. We can take care of someone and we can love someone, but someone else can sit and talk with that person while we take a little 10-15 minute break. And if they're there for an afternoon to sit with a person, or they're going to take your kids for an afternoon, or whatever it is, and you've got 30 minutes to an hour and a half, what you do with that time is up to you. Now, maybe, I mean, I love to clean. That's a very calming thing for me. So some people might say, well, Teri, you should take a nap. I don't feel like taking a nap, but I will Swiffer some floors and vacuum and mop. And I like that. That brings me my zen. That's a meditation in motion for me, while other people hate that. So you got to know what your thing is.
Know what you need to say yes to for yourself. Corinne joins us. Suzanne says, my coffee is my first, give me a moment.
Right.
And sometimes, you have to have that. I had to learn, I had certain people in my life that I love so much, but their calls got earlier and earlier and earlier. And
I remember having that conversation with you one day when we were talking, and I said, what the hell are you answering the phone at 6:30 in the morning for? At 4:00 in the morning? Why are you answering these phone calls? Like, girl.
I know. I needed to learn my limits. And now I have a certain time of day when I'm not going to answer the phone if it is before certain hours. And I'm not going to answer after certain hours. There's
always the exception to that, right? Like if you have someone that you look down and you see their number all the time at all hours of the day and the night, and it starts to creep into 6 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, whatever it is in the morning, I'm not going to do that anymore. But if you are sleeping and you see your sister call at 3:30 in the morning,
oh, I'm picking that phone call up.
You're answering the phone, because that's not a habit. It's not a habitual thing that has happened where you have to set a boundary.
Right, exactly. And I know that she's not going to call unless it's something important at that hour.
Right.
There's an exception to every rule. That's what makes it a rule. But Elizabeth says, I got different things for different moods. Yeah, it's true. It's true. What we say yes to. If for those people who just joined us, we're starting with the quote about when you learn to say yes to yourself, you will be able to say no to others with love. And that's exactly where I was in my life. And I was carrying around these weird resentments, but I caused I planted the garden for the resentment to grow. And I had to take responsibility for that. I was doing things and then complaining when I had the control of, don't pick up the phone if it's at a time when you don't want to pick up the phone.
Or don't overcommit yourself to something when you know, like say for instance, you know that your plate is full, and a friend or the school calls and says, "Oh, can you do this for me?" You already know your plate is full. So you have to really look at why you're saying yes to people. What are you getting out of that? Is it you're saying yes because you're a nice person? You can be a nice person and say no. Are you saying yes because you don't want them to ask somebody else because you need to be the one that they always ask? If you do, you probably need to talk to somebody about that. You don't always have to say yes to everyone. And when you learn to say yes to yourself, you can say no to people, and not everyone is going to take that with love. They're going to be like, but you've always said yes to me. I don't like it that you're saying no now. Okay, well, that's okay. You don't have to like it. Not asking you to like it. I'm just saying that I'm taking care of me right now. And this request that you have asked doesn't work for me right now.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean you don't love the person. It doesn't mean you don't want anything to do with them. Doesn't mean you won't do it next time. It just means that right now, no.
Elizabeth says, if anyone gets a call from me at 5 a.m. or after 8 p.m., it's going to be an emergency, or we planned that call.
Right.
See. And Leslie is joining us. Hi, Leslie. Leslie just got back from a big old trip to Switzerland. And so glad to have you back. Glad everybody's safe and sound that's been traveling. I want to talk for a second about saying yes to not just time for ourselves. No, sometimes we have to give ourselves permission to do something that we've always been afraid to do. I have signed up because you have been so encouraging, Teri, about taking classes. There are two places that I'm taking classes now online, Coursera and Coursera. I think Coursera or whatever. There are two places that I'm taking some classes to learn how to do things I didn't know how to do. And, sometimes saying yes to something and you go, well, I'm afraid to do it because I don't know how. Well, guess what?
Well, that's why you do it.
You learn how to do something new. And I don't know if anybody here has taken a class or learned how to do something lately, but that's a big yes. That's a big step in a direction. And you're the one that really, I was like, okay, you don't know how to do that? We'll take a class and learn. Oh, okay. I have learned that there's some things I don't want to do after taking a class. I go, okay, that was something I thought I wanted to do that, but guess what? I don't love that.
And learning to be courageous, have courageous conversations with yourself about things that you want to do without talking yourself out of doing them. And what I mean by that is I had a conversation earlier with a client today, and they were like, well, I just, I don't know how to do that. And I just feel stupid. I feel stupid because I can't do that. And I said, okay, let me get this straight. You feel stupid for not knowing how to do something that you were never taught how to do. Okay. What's behind that? Because the example, because my brain works in analogies and metaphors. The example that I gave her was, if you were raised in a family and you went to school, and everybody in your family and everybody in your school all wore Velcro tennis shoes, right? They all wore them. That was just what you had never been exposed to lace up shoes. And then you went through elementary school or primary school, you go through middle school, you go through high school, you go through college, and now all of a sudden you have applied for a job, and that job is at, well, I don't think you'd go to college for this, and no shame to anybody who works at Foot Locker, but you go to Foot Locker. And they say, here, try on these shoes. So you try the shoes on. And they're like, well, lace them up. And you're like, I don't know how to do that. If you have an opportunity right at that crossroads to learn something new and be proud of yourself for learning something new, or for saying, I'm so stupid, I don't know how to do this. I feel so much shame. I'm so embarrassed. There's no reason for the shame or the embarrassed. If you've never been exposed to it, you can't know how to do it. So learn something new and be supportive of yourself learning something new. We never stop learning, ever.
And when we decide we are not going to learn anything new, we're done. Always have a teachable spirit. That's the bottom line to life. Life is about learning something new all the time. It really is. Elizabeth says that sometimes it just takes that one time trying something new, then it becomes easier each time we try it. Corinne says, was taking violin lessons until one shoulder got painful. Now taking keyboard lessons for a while. Feel very awkward. But dadgummit, Corinne, isn't that fun? It's just so cute. I had a really sweet, Jill Pavel just joined us. Hi, Jill. My mobile vet, Dr. Childs, love her with all my heart. I asked her about something and she says, well, I'm taking banjo lessons. I said, what? She says, yep, it's a bunch of us and none of us know how to play, but we go down to the Fiddle and Pick in Pegram. We all take our banjos and we sit around in a circle and we learn together. And I thought, oh, how cool is that? And Corinne says, no, not fun. Well, Corinne, you're my hero. The fact that you picked up and moved to a new place, you are taking lessons with something. I mean, that's commendable in itself. But, my vet decided she retired and she wanted to play the banjo. She had always wanted to do that. And I think that is so cool when people decide they want to learn something new. I mean, and it doesn't have to be a musical instrument. It could be something like you're a big proponent of sporting events like kayaking.
Yeah, that's not everybody's jam, but I loved kayak. So, but there's all kinds of things. I mean, there's all sorts of things we can learn. I mean, you can learn how to, learn to crochet, learn to cross stitch, learn to badminton, learn to shuffleboard, learn to pickleball, learn to paint, learn to carve something, learn to garden, there's all kinds of stuff. Like if there's something that strikes your fancy, give yourself the opportunity to be childlike about it and learn it, but at the same time, being able to, back to like the message here, being able to do something, give yourself permission to yes, and then that may mean that you say no to something else with, sometimes it might be hard to muster up some love if somebody has just constantly asked you, do it, will you 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 do it? And it's just like, you don't have the love to give them. So you say no with, steady and consistency and decisiveness. Like that's not going to work. Or, you know what? Thanks so much for inviting me. I can't make it this time, but keep me on the list for next time. Or unless you're one of those people that know you're never going to go, but you just want to be invited, that's also something else you probably need to look at. Like,
let's unpack that. Let's unpack that. There are things I'm never going to do. I'm not going to jump out of a perfectly good airplane. I have been asked to go skydiving so many times. I'm not going to give anybody the idea that I'm ever going to say yes. I don't want to be ugly when I say no. And when they say, but I'll be there and it's okay and you'll love it. No, I'm never going to jump out of a plane. I'm just not going to do that.
The answer to that is I really do appreciate that invitation, but that's not my jam. But I appreciate it. I hope you have such a great time.
Okay.
Oh, but I'll be there, but I'm not going to go. I appreciate you offering me, but the answer is no. Mm-hmm. But don't you want to go experience? I think this conversation is done.
Yeah. It's like
I've said no. I want you to have fun. And also, are you questioning why you should go? Because you seem pretty adamant that I need to go, but I'm sure you can have fun doing this on your own, or you have other friends that will do it,
Yeah.
But you don't have to get into a round robin with people about saying no. No is a complete sentence. No, thank you. Thanks for inviting me, but no, thank you.
Yeah.
But if you're that person that that every time somebody, but don't stop asking me because I'm going to, I don't want you to stop asking me, but they consistently don't show up, you absolutely have the right to not play that game, because that's what that is. They're needing to feel included, inclusive, important, but they're not going to, they're getting that dopamine for, oh, they want me to be there, but I'm not going to go. They want me to be there, but I'm not going to go. I quit wasting steps on that a long time ago. Like you've got to know, or have that conversation. Look, I've asked you to do this several times and, you seem to always be busy, or you've got other things going on. Do you not want to? Because if you don't want to, that's okay. I won't ask anymore.
And that's different than I don't have time. That's different. Yeah. Absolutely. Elizabeth says she's got a kit to learn to make macrame. And Jill said, I just signed up to learn how to make sushi. I think those are so fun. Those are some really fun, interesting things going on. But whenever we think, we come up with excuses that kick the can down the road, that's part of pleasing somebody else. We're not telling them no, we're saying not now. And when you say to someone, not yet now, that gives them an open door to ask you again. John Willis is he's a guitar player here in town, a studio player. And he said he went to his mother-in-law's house and she made something that's very famous in their family. It's the best in the whole world, chocolate gravy with biscuits. I made chocolate gravy. And she said, isn't it the best thing you've ever had? And he says, in all honesty, no. I appreciate you making it for me, and I appreciate all that went into it, but it's just not something I prefer. I don't really like chocolate gravy. I don't like gravy on my biscuits. That's not my thing. And he said, I could have been more pleasing and said, yeah, that was great. And then I'm going to have to eat it every time I come to their house. And he said, I don't want her spending her time making something that she thinks I like when I don't like it at all. And he said, I tried to be as nice as I could about it. But once you tell somebody, in that practicing rigorous honesty in all our affairs, telling someone we like something we don't really like, it's on us.
It is, but also having those conversations with people, you will run into people that continually have a little bit of a victim or a martyr thing going on. Like I know someone that needed some help with something, and I helped them out, and it was no strings attached. It was just like, I'm helping you out with this, this is my gift to you. And then it was, well, how much was this? I'll pay you back. There is no payback on this. Let's just you're welcome. And that's it. Moving on. And for the next couple of conversations, it was just remember to let me know how much that was. And after I just ignored it both times. And then after the third time they said it, I said, what are you needing me to say to you? What are you needing as a response? Because we've already talked about this. So what's your need in that? Well, I don't need anything. Then why are we still having this conversation? Yeah. And the need is, I knew what the need was. The need is that I need to feel bad about not being able to provide something for myself, because then I can still sink into the belief that I'm not enough and no one cares.
Ooh, that's uncovering something. Yeah.
And no.
For a long time, I think everybody, especially women, find it hard to accept a string-free gift.
Not me, girl. You want to give me a string-free gift? Send it my way.
I think it's tough because I don't know what, and it always stems from what you just said. Am I valuable enough to do this when I cannot provide it for myself?
Right.
And it's important to note that, and don't feel bad if that is something that you struggle with. If you struggle with it, if you're having trouble finding your own value and why you are worth that gift, or if you have guilt because you're in a situation. I hear this a lot, especially with women who are getting into their 60s. I never thought I would be in this stage of my life and finding myself still struggling to pay bills, or still struggling for this, or finding myself alone, or all this. I've heard that so much in the last year. I'm 63, so I hear a lot of contemporary friends whose spouses have died, and things aren't as prepared as what they thought they would be. They find themselves into, oh gosh, I'm back in the workforce now. I thought I was going to be retired, and I thought I was going to be, on a cruise ship going around the world. Sometimes life changes, and and everything is not in the movie that we wrote for ourselves.
Right.
And we find, and feeling guilty about that is not, it just happens. It's just life. And
you learn to pivot, and you learn to do different things.
Yeah.
Which puts you back in the thing of finding the things that you enjoy, so that they can bring you some joy into your life, and that you can appreciate them. And, being able to say yes to yourself. Yes, I will take that, girls getaway. Yes, I will cut my hair that way that I've always wanted, even though everybody has said it will look horrible. Yes, I will try this new hair color. Yes, I will say, I need, I need to take an afternoon, for myself. Give yourself permission to do that. If you don't give yourself permission to do it, no one else is going to give you permission to do it. Because when we make ourselves self-proclaimed important people, then everybody is always going to need us. And everybody doesn't always need us. One day we're all going to die, and somebody else is going to be doing the same damn thing we're doing right now.
That's right. That's right.
Hey,
now, Char. Hey, Char. Good. Char just jumped in, so I wanted to say hi to her.
Not making light of, again, caretaking is a little different than, I always challenge, and I'm excluding caretaking out of this, because caretaking is a different beast all in of itself.
Yep.
But when people tell me I don't have time to do XYZ, I will have them pull out their phone, if you got an iPhone, and I will have them go to their settings to tell me what their screen time is.
Mm.
And when they tell me that they've been on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn for a total of 3 to 5 hours a day, I'm like, well, looks like you got time. What are your priorities?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I do want to say this real quick. When we're talking about hobbies and that kind of stuff, Suzanne, who is with us tonight, she has picked up the hobby of creating Legos, or not creating Legos, creating the artwork out of the Legos, like the flowers, and those, they come in like flowers in vases, and it's like a 3D Lego. That's something that now, I don't think I could do that, because that would drive me crazy trying to like create something out of all them little tiny pieces. But she does it, and she loves it. And probably 3 years ago, she had no idea that she would like it or be good at it. So it's those kind of things. Like, find something that you enjoy. My daughter loves to crochet, so she's actually making like garland for people to hang on their mantles and that kind of stuff out of like Christmas trees, and she's crocheting that stuff. So find something that you enjoy doing, and let that be a part of what you do, not apart from what you do. Like, always say yes to yourself, to give yourself something, a treat every day. It doesn't have to be a sweet treat. Maybe you put one of them, I don't know what they're called, but them little things you put underneath your eyeballs that make you hydrate your eyes or whatever. Maybe you do a face mask. Maybe you walk around the block. Maybe you pick up some flowers at the store and set them in a vase on your table. Maybe you buy a candle that smells really good. There's a ton of things that you can do to say yes to yourself that does not require booking a plane ticket or leaving the house. There's lots of things.
Absolutely. And sometimes there are things that you have left behind because you think, I can't do it because nobody has. Oh, I love this one. My kids would never let me have the time to do that. My husband would never let me do that. Y'all, I will tell you right now, that is chances are that is not the case. And if it is, you might want to look at those relationships and how you've enabled those people to stop what you're doing. But the other thing is, most of the time, the people who truly love us that are in our world would love for us to have some time doing something we love. They really would. And because it makes us more interesting people. It makes us more fulfilled.
That bounces back to the question of, oh, did I lose you? I don't know if you can hear me or not. I think I lost you. I'm going to sign out, and you're not here anymore. So I'm going to sign out and sign back in because I think I might. Oh, there you are.
It just, everything went down. I tell you, the storm was crazy today. I mean, and I had a little bit, everything just went, oh snap, your internet connection has ended. And I'm going,
okay.
no.
I thought it was me. I thought it was on my end. I was like, well, I think I'm out of the show now. So everybody's going, did I lose you? So anyway.
Okay, Suzanne and Shar and Elizabeth, y'all, we're all back. We're back. We're finishing up.
So one thing that I would say to people that say, my kids would never let me have the time to do that, or my boss will never let me have that time off, or my husband never let me have that time. We got to look at why we feel, and this is going to sting. People are not going to like this. Why we need to feel so important in other people's lives, but we don't feel important in our own. What are we doing? Why are we teaching people to treat us that way? And why are we accepting of that? It's no secret. We all love to know that we matter, but how we go about conditioning other people to prove that we matter is important. So if you are enabling a lot of people so that they just can't live without you, like I said a while ago, we're all going to die. So, you might want to enable them to stand on their own feet. That's a true depiction of caring for someone, is allowing them the ability to learn and grow and take care of themselves.
Amen to the hallelujah.
Maybe that's just putting dinner in the microwave. I don't know, but there's something missing inside us when we have to make everyone else dependent upon us. That is not a healthy dynamic.
No, it is not. I go to meetings for that. And it really is. And you have to learn that we are not indispensable. And there's always someone who can do our job. And it's okay that it is. And
it's okay. It's okay to be a people person and want to help people and want to volunteer and want to do that stuff. But if you can't take care of yourself and you're always focused on taking care of other people, that's an issue. That's a problem that needs to be looked at, because that means you're not ever going to say no to anyone but yourself. I would love to take a nap, but they asked me to, pick up 3 extra carpools this week, so I'm going to do that. Why? Why? You could say no, I could take 1, or you could say, you know what? No, thank you. No, thank you. Being able to take care of yourself. There's no greater. And I say this when I work with young parents and when I work with people who are caregiving for their elderly parents. and I stand firm on it, and people will argue it all day long, and that's okay. There is no greater gift to anyone in your life than learning to take care of yourself.
Woo!
There is not.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't take care of yourself, you are half-assing taking care of other people.
Did y'all hear that? That's one of those stinging lines, but it's true. I tell you something else too. If you are at the place where you go, I can't leave because they won't do it like I do it. There's more than one right way. And guess what? They won't do it like you. I guarantee you, someone, you call them in there, they won't do it like you. But that's okay. And guess what? That, you know, when I leave my dog with my vet, am I worried to death that something's going to happen, that dog won't be taken care of like I would do it? Maybe. But you know what? That dog is happy to see me, and he is fat and sassy and healthy. And if anything happens, he's at the vet. So it works. Letting go of the things that it has to be done my way is just another of saying, well, it's control.
It is a control. It's a control.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times, I know the word manipulation is a big word that people buzz around out there all the time, but I try to not convince, but I try to share with clients that entertaining the thought of shifting that word out of manipulation into persuasion. Because a lot of times people aren't intentionally trying to manipulate. And well, there are people that definitely try to manipulate, but then there are other people who are not trying to manipulate a situation, but they are very persuasive in their need to, do whatever it is that they need to do. And so, and that's when someone says, we're cutting out, or we need whatever for the school play. And one mother says, well, I can do everything. I'll do the costumes, and then I'll get the stuff for this, and I'll get the this, and I'll get the this. Like, let somebody else have some fun. You don't got to do it all.
Mm-hmm. And what a gift you give them when you give them that opportunity. What a gift you give them.
Now, sometimes there will be people that will say, well, nobody else will do it. And if I don't do it, nobody's going to do it. Well, then maybe it doesn't get done.
Maybe it doesn't have to be done. Shar says, we leave the cat with a sitter for a week. I know Kitty will not get the love we give, but she will be fine. Elizabeth says, we have to dance our own dance. The people who are meant to be in our lives will learn to dance with us. Those that can't, I don't need. I like that. I like that too. Well, you guys, we're going to bring things to a close here. Thank you guys for being with us. We love you so much. We changed our times. Instead of launch date at lunch, we have launch date in the evening. And we have a lot of people who at the end of the day have a little bit more time than in the middle of the day. So, Teri, you want to take us home?
Sure. Not to sound like a broken record, but to sound just like a broken record. We appreciate each and every one of you sharing your time and your energy with us. And if you have questions, comments, leave them below or reach out to either one of us. And we're happy to answer them and go into, greater discussions and whatnots. And as you navigate this next week from this Wednesday to next, really ask yourself, in the 24 hours out of the day, can you not afford to gift yourself 10 minutes? Like just 10 minutes. Maybe it's 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening. Maybe it's just a solid 10-minute block somewhere. But can you not afford to gift yourself 10 minutes just to do something that brings you peace of mind, brings you enjoyment, brings you silence and contentment, like anything? Think of it. And if you're willing to share it with us next week, share with us what you decided you could implement in your daily, and just let us know, because there are other people out there that may be struggling or stuck with it. And maybe whatever you decided you could implement in your life, they might learn that they might want to try that too. So, and all of that to say, to put a bow on this, as you go through this week, continue to increase your awareness, increase your self-love, and increase your peace.
Bye, everybody.